Friends and family, don't bully us about what we eat and drink. We know you're trying to be helpful, but it's up to us to decide where we cheat and what we trade off. It's what makes life bearable.
Work is often a key factor when you're choosing your treatment, but it's really difficult to know just how you're going to feel once you've established your therapy routine and to predict how all that will impact on your job. As an IT consultant with a young family, I found that even on COPD, I just couldn't continue the same level of work. But everyone's different, and the tools are there to support you in continuing to work. With Twilight HD sessions available locally, Michael Marr is still happily moving up the corporate ladder with an international company producing aluminium.
If the employers understand your treatment, understand kidney failure, they will be able to support you. They have never restricted my responsibility. I've always taken ownership of anything I've done, and I'm one of the more senior persons on site now. The biggest challenge was fitting in the schedule of dialysis, especially hemodialysis, and the inconvenience of having to do that 3 times a week. So in the end we came to an agreement that I start a bit later on the Tuesday, Thursdays.
It doesn't affect the team very much at all. He's very flexible. If he needs to take a little bit of extra time one day, he'll have to make it up the next.
I want to still progress. I want to still do everything that a normal person would be doing at my age. And I think by working and continuing to work, it allows me to have that.
Not all employers will be as accommodating as Michael's, but as renal patients we're automatically covered under the Disability Discrimination Act, or DDA. Once a GP, Dr. Les Smith is now a consultant in occupational health.
With the change in the workplace and the Disability Discrimination Act, it means that we have to look at ways of keeping people in work. The manager has a responsibility to do what we call reasonable adjustments in the workplace under the Act, which means he and the HR department have to try and find means of allowing that person to continue to do the job, to be able to get into work to do the job, and to try to adjust both the time that they work, the types of work that they do, and also to make the job as satisfactory as possible for them. I tell my patients always to discuss openly with if they want to, with their employer about the condition. Be the expert and teach them about it, because other than that, the employer and the manager will have maybe a sort of a slanted view of what the problem is.
Diane Swift and Sally Bruin both found that on PD, with some small adjustments to their role or location, they were able to continue working normally, while Pete Kumar switched from engineering to taxi driving to fit in with his home hemo.
It suits my lifestyle perfectly. Reason being, because you're self-employed, you haven't got like an employer to answer to. Whereas a normal taxi driver goes for his medical every 3 to 5 years, I have to go every year.
My bosses have always been very supportive and acknowledged that I had this kidney problem, and I used to have to go for regular medical checkups, and they've been superb right the way through.
I used to take a supply of bags actually into work, and even in cases where I'd got a management meeting, I used to have to go down to London, and the area manager used to take my bags down for me, and then I could go on the train with the rest of the management and do one while I was there. So we're very accommodating and very helpful.
Many employers offer health benefits or insurance as part of their employment package. Check to see how your entitlement will be affected by your illness. It's good to know where you stand.
If you drive a car, you'll need to let the DVLA know about your condition. It is a legal requirement.
As renal patients, we all look forward to any improvements in prevention and treatment of renal disease that research and development might bring. Today, more than ever before, the international renal community, clinicians, research scientists, patients and our representative groups is pulling together to ensure the best results are delivered sooner rather than later. Professor Neil Turner, Chair of Kidney Research UK, works at the forefront of renal research and development at the Queen's Medical Research Institute in Edinburgh.
Well, I think we've got fantastic opportunities in research. The tools have never been so good. The understanding of the genes, the new imaging techniques that can show us what's going on in kidneys in living patients, and many of the laboratory techniques which have developed across the years really give us extraordinary opportunities to make things better. And we're going to really be able to make a difference in, I hope, a smaller timescale.
It's important to ensure that research and development is relevant and useful to people directly affected by renal disease and to the people who work with them. A recent survey carried out by Kidney Research UK showed that people are particularly interested in early detection, stem cell research, making damaged kidneys last longer, causes of kidney damage, and improving quality of life. So let's now look at the latest developments in some of these key areas.
We know that some of the treatments that prevent protein getting into the urine can prolong the life of a kidney, and we're beginning now, I think, to understand ways in which we can control it with different drugs. In other words, to make damaged kidneys last much longer, keep people healthy, prevent them from ever needing dialysis or transplants. Each time a gene is discovered, there's a huge amount of work in understanding how that causes the disease and what the possible ways of treating it as a result of that knowledge are. An good example is polycystic kidney disease, for which the gene was known about 20 years ago. It was identified 10 years ago, but only now, this year, are the very first new drugs being tested in patients.
Which are there with any injury that happens to the kidney?
I don't think we'll ever be able to grow a kidney in a test tube, but it does look very likely that stem cells, either from a donor or possibly from your own body, may be able to modify and make better kidney diseases that you've already got. I think the picture over the next 10, 20, 30 years is very good in kidney disease. However, we will still be using dialysis, we will still be doing transplants, and we will still, at the end of that time, be wanting to improve them further.
For the latest news on research and development and information on how you can get involved, go to the Kidney Research UK website. You'll find the address on the DVD pack along with other useful sources of patient information. I hope, having watched this programme, you feel a bit more able to manage the future living with renal failure. Remember, you're in charge of your condition. It's up to you to take control and make the very best use of the people and information around you. So good luck and try to stay positive.